and about 3 miles to go before we turn off and go across country on a B road, which in Britain there's 4 main designations of road. There's your motorway, which is anything from 2 to 3 to 4 lanes, 70-mile-an-hour limit, a barrier down the middle with a central reservation and a hard shoulder, well, most of the time. Then you have your A roads, which we're on at the moment, which are typically 1 lane of traffic going each way. Then you have your B roads, which are narrow ones, which I'll be going on shortly. A single lane, often unmarked, and more often than not very narrow. Then there's your unclassified and unnamed. They're still public highways, but they can be, even some places I've experienced, gravel tracks, but still classed as a public highway. Quite spectacular. Many people around the world, when they think of Scotland, they think of mountains and lakes and mist. Oh, and rain and cold. Fortunately, apart from 2 days, it's been staggeringly good. Left turn coming up somewhere. So I'll be turning off here. There we go. Now, where's this road going to take us? Apart from to Dunvegan, which is 23 miles away. Thank you very much, sir. Yeah, and we're climbing up into the mountains. Touch wood, the bike is running beautifully. Not wanting to tempt fate. I often say touch wood. In Britain we say touch wood. In America they say knock on wood. And I've been chastised several times for saying touch wood. But hey, here in Britain we say touch wood. This is a fabulous bit of tarmac. This is a B road, but it's still nice and wide and very good surface. It's extremely good surface. The old currant buns coming out. I do like a good twist. We're gaining a good bit of height. Not as high as I was in France a couple of years ago. It was so cold and so high that when I reached the summit, my fuel consumption dropped from the usual sort of 49-50 miles per gallon to around about 20. That was a bit disconcerting, that. The air was so thin that it caused the fuel injection to over-richen loads more fuel, and the bike was considerably down on power, but as soon as I began descending, the old average miles per gallon climbed quite rapidly. Suddenly gone darker, and that's because we're getting quite high now and just under the cloud cover. Not knowing how high we're going to get, we may go through the cloud. When I was a kid going on an aeroplane, I was petrified that if we went into the clouds, you know, we'd hit them and crash. This is what I call going for a Sunday ride. Yet another glorious bay. There's no shortage of places to visit and moor up on your 1950s Dutch wooden fishing trawler. This bay has been closed up a little bit, so they build a bridge across. Wow. I imagine out here in the winter, wow. Probably bad enough with the wind and rain, but if you get snowed in, I don't think Tesco or Asda do home deliveries via helicopter. "10 miles to Dunvegan." Yeah, get in, crazy fool. I believe the guy was going to overtake there and then happened to see me coming the other way. These are the people you have to look out for. There are people who seem to drive around totally oblivious to the fact that anybody else is on the road. I'm getting a few spots of moisture on the visor. So following the mole incident with the lens getting soaked, I have a couple of tissues with me, so I may have to stop a couple of times and give it a little wipe. Yeah, not quite a thick pea super now. More of a cloudy mulligatawny. Right, I'll get over in a minute and just have a quick precautionary wipe, if you'll pardon the expression. Right, just pull in here. I wonder how often I'm going to have to do this. Seems dry. Oh well. You can buy a little Bluetooth monitor that goes on your handlebars for this camera, so yeah, maybe that as a precaution when it's raining. Mind you, it's also good for checking your camera is still pointing where it should be. Five and a half miles to Dunvegan. And we're still climbing, passing through an area called Upper Furlig. Upper Furlig. Yeah, this is now we're into a pea super. And also a little on the windy side. Wow, this is really thick. As per usual, I shall ride as quickly as I can see, which at the moment equates to about 45 and getting slower. Fortunately, I have auxiliary driving lights on the front of the bike, which make you stand out a little bit more to car drivers who they point their head and their eyes in your general direction, but they don't actually see. Ah, are we starting to descend a little bit? River Rosgill. Ooh, ah, wow. Oh, tracks and lines in the road, they just take your front tyre, and you have to follow it. Oh, wow. Oh, that's so rough. Incredible. Ah, but I can see brightness. I can see brightness. Oh, look at this bit of sunshine coming up. Oh, look at that out there. somehow it's making its way through this crud. Is that blue I can make out? I believe so. Now pull over for another precautionary wipe. Two and a quarter miles to Dunvegan. Yeah, that was a thick bit of mist. Let's just pop in here. Right. No, I don't want a bus. Oh, the sign's down. So does that mean there's no longer a bus? Got to be careful not to touch the camera angle adjuster. It has a thing that goes, you tilt the camera. Just like that, it brightens up and clears up. Well, this is Dunvegan. And now I need to cut across to a place called Borve, B-O-R-V-E. That's correct, isn't it? Yes. Borve. I am Locutus of Borve. From this day forth, you shall service us. And we go through a place called Bernersdale, Carbost, and then Borve. And after that, we'll head on to Portree and have a look round there. Okay. Very nice. And that was a very, very good ride. Yeah, thank you very much, sir. And we're climbing again, even higher. Back into that mist. So far today I've had spring down at the campsite and had winter up on the mountains. Well, even thicker. only time I've been through a fog thicker than this was on the canals in Travels by Narrowboat, season 3 I think it was, on the Bridgewater, possibly at a place called Lymm. That was thick. I could just about make out the front of my boat. Wow, that was a bee that just, well, it hit the visor full on and exploded. Wow, okay. That made me jump. I was just about to say something and I can't remember what it was. Oh well. Whack! I sometimes like to ride with the visor open. If that had hit me in the mush, I would have felt it. The old joke, what's the first thing that comes into a bee's mind when it hits your windscreen? It's backside. Or words to that effect. Here comes the sun, doo-doo-doo-doo. It's alright, stuff like that. How is it possible to write a hit, memorable tune with as few words as possible? Just keep repeating the chorus over and over and over again. It's a skill. Three-quarters of a mile to Borv, but I won't actually be getting as far as there because that's on the other side of this main road. I'll be going right and heading for Portree. Which is just a few miles away. The sky is brighter on the other side of Skye, approaching Portree, Skye's capital town. Couldn't quite call it a city, but in Skye terms I'd say it's the closest thing to a city. This is Portree. Parking is 30 minutes. It's difficult to know what is private and what isn't. Clearly parking is an issue. Now, what are these? Right, turn round. There's nothing saying about signs or times or anything like that, so I think I'll go down here. There was a space further back, so I'm going to go there. "30 minutes should be enough." Let's have a look down here. Well, there's a space. I can get in there. There we go. What's wrong with that? That's something that's new to me, is you can hire a push bike or an e-bike and get a coffee. Hello, little baby moo. This has been resurfaced since I came here a couple of years ago. Yeah, this is steeper than it probably appears on the camera. You don't want to stall, I can tell you that much.